it is essential to represent God properly. Jesus says, you are the light of the world. Well, there is no light in us. God is light. Jesus says, I am the light. And so the way we behave as Christians gives testimony about God. People cannot see God, but they can see you and me. And they know through us if Christianity is real or fake. In fact, our behavior says more than our sermons. Remember, Jesus said clearly, hallowed in the Lord's Prayer, he says, hallowed be thy name. Sanctified be your name. That doesn't mean necessarily that you make God holy. God is already holy. But your behavior, you sanctify him or you can dishonor him. And so many times Christianity is criticized, not because of God, but rather because of Christians. I'm going to give you an example. I cannot tell you the location or the name or any details, but I can tell you that I was in a place where there was a lady that she seemed to be holier than Mother Teresa, holier than Mary, the most holy person I've seen in my life. She was not a bad person, but anyway, when she would talk to me, she would have a higher pitch. Instead of talking normally, she'd say, "Oh, Pastor, we love you so much." Well, I was wondering because I just moved there. They didn't even know me how to love me. I didn't say I love you too because I didn't want to lie. I just said, "Oh, well, God bless you." But anyway, when she prayed, she had a higher pitch. "Oh, Jesus, we love you so much, Jesus." And I was wondering, why would she talk so soft, so high? I mean, you can talk to God in a normal voice. You don't need to use different voice. You don't need to scream. You don't need to use extremely sophisticated words or language. You don't impress God by your tone or by your flowery words. You impress God by having an honest, broken, humble heart. Being honest and open. Talking from the heart. And so, very simple. I was wondering, I didn't want to judge her, but I was wondering, why would she use a higher pitch, a higher tone when she prays? And people thought, oh, she's so holy, she's a saint. I usually don't believe in saints. I believe in normal people. People that go in extremes. There is something wrong. There is something not normal. And so, I wanted to visit that family to see what is going on. I just purchased a motorcycle that week. It was a second-hand motorcycle. A lady that her husband left her, and she had the motorcycle, and the motorcycle would not even start. And she gave it to me for a very good price, almost so cheap, almost free. It was not free, but very cheap. And the motorcycle had nothing wrong, just the battery was bad. I put a new battery, and the whole motorcycle was perfect. It was a fast bike, 4-cylinder, 750cc. I mean, a bullet. You would get so fast. And so I wanted to test the motorcycle. So I called them. I said, I'm going to visit you. And instead of taking the car, I took the motorcycle. I went to visit that family. They knew that I am coming. When I got to the door and I knocked in the door, she opened the door and she instantly spoke with a high-pitched voice. "Oh, Pastor, we are so happy you came. We love you so much." I said, "Oh, okay, God bless you." And they invited me in. And we talked and we prayed. And then I left. When I left, they gave me a hug. I got on my motorcycle. I started the bike. And I drove just about 2 blocks. And the engine stopped. I forgot, because it was a new motorcycle. I never used it before. I forgot that under the tank, it had a faucet, a valve that you are supposed to open it. If not, the gas would stop. So the motorcycle worked as long as it had gas in the carburetor. And then it stopped. I tried to start it again and again and again until I killed the battery. And then what to do? I walked back to the house of our church members to ask for help. But they didn't know that I'm coming. And they didn't hear the engine because I was walking back. So they didn't expect me. And guess what? They were screaming at each other, fighting, hitting each other. I don't know exactly. I was not inside the house to see what they did. But the noise was terrible. And she was calling her names, and she was calling him names. And she said, you are, and she used bad words, stupid, you don't have a brain. And she, really difficult, ugly fight. And she lost the holy voice. I was ready to knock in the door. But then I realized, man, I knock in the door when they are fighting. So I didn't want to really catch them in such a difficult, embarrassing moment. So instead of knocking the door, I left slowly, hoping that they didn't see me. But in that moment, he pushed her in the door, and the door opened. And she said, stop pushing me! Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? And then she saw me, and instantly said, oh, Pastor, you came back. Instantly, she got her holiness back. How could it be that people can switch right away? And right now they are angry, and next second they are holy and funny and friendly, and they say, happy Sabbath, I love you. Can it be that we so many times have a mask, have two faces, and we play holiness when we are in public or we go to the church, but then we drop it when we go home or in the neighborhood or to work? But the way we behave talks about the God we have. The way we behave, we represent or misrepresent God. And if you misrepresent God, you actually undermine His love and His authority and His work with other people. Because when Jesus says, hallowed be thy name, it means, Lord, let me honor you, sanctify your name to my behavior to the degree that when people, neighbors, friends, co-workers, when people see me, they see Christ in me. Shouldn't people see Christ in us? Shouldn't people see Christ's character, love, compassion, patience in us? We say, oh, we love Jesus. But the Bible in 1 John chapter 4 clearly says that if you don't love others, you may think you love Jesus, but the love of God is not in you. You are a liar. You actually misrepresent God. Through your behavior, you represent God properly or misrepresent Him. And we need to make sure that we are so filled with His presence to the degree that we reflect His presence to people around us. Not only what we say, but how we treat others. Very simple. To the degree that you love the one that maybe is not your friend, maybe is an enemy, to that degree you love God. And to that degree you represent Him, good or bad. You represent God through your behavior. Make sure that you are so filled with His presence that you show His character through your behavior so people can know God through you.